and welcome to yet another quick review. So this one will be about suspension settings which I found during my long trip on this bike, and then some off-road experience with it as well. So let's start. So this is 1290 Super Adventure R, my own motorcycle. So for the long trips, if you're riding on a tarmac most of the time, no big jumps or anything like that, just a street, but for very long distances and the bumpy street roads. So this is what you need to have. So first of all, I aligned the forks with a triple clamp, so only the fork caps are visible. When you do that, don't forget that you have a steering damper clamp over here. You need to tighten this one and also adjust it so it will be in the right position when you're changing the fork position. This is to raise the front of the bike and relax the front geometry for higher stability at a higher speed. So preload in the front, all preload on the forks are actually added, so 10 turns in, I think it's approximately from full out on both sides, of course. And compression damping adjuster, so for nice soft ride for long distances, comfort ride, 24 clicks out, and the rebound damper adjuster, 24 clicks out as well. So coming down to the rear shock, so my weight is approximately 85 kilograms, not sure how much that is in pounds, but you can use Google to convert. So I took all the preload from the rear shock again to just basically unscrew it completely like this way, and then just to a first click put it back to a first click. This is again to relax the front geometry for more stability. And here on the shock you have this big nut. Sorry. Yeah, so this one, the outer nut, is 17mm nut, and you need to have it at approximately 2 turns out. So you screw it in and then 2 turns out on the big one on 17mm. And then that little screwdriver head over there needs to be at 5 clicks out. And rebound, I'm not sure if I can show it to you, but it's underwear somewhere. Another screwdriver adjustable thing. So that's supposed to be at approximately 12 or 11 clicks out. This is where it needs to be, 12 or 11. Try both and see which one works better for you. So that is the setup. So what I found in the rear shock, the spring is kind of okay for riding with a luggage, but just for myself it's a little too stiff, but it's kind of still in the range of bearable. But yeah, with a luggage that would be fine, or a passenger, of course. So when you're riding with a passenger, you need to add some more preload into the spring to your taste thing, depending on the weight of a passenger. But what I found in the rear shock, the low speed compression damping, this is for small movements when the bike just little moves like that, slowly over a pavement. It's too soft, and so it almost needs to be at like 5 clicks out to be like fine. Because otherwise, when you're riding over small waves on the pavement, the bike starts to kind of I don't know how to say, just move like that. I mean, all together with them, so it compresses too much, and then rebound raises it up, and so it doesn't feel right. So 5 clicks out on the low speed compression damping, and the high speed compression damping is quite interesting. So I found it's actually mid speed compression, I think, pretty much on this one. So it controls your descents when you land, you know, after jumping through like something. More when it affects the high speed bumps. But as I said, 2 turns out on the high speed adjuster, that 17mm nut kind of works fine for the comfort riding. Yeah, so that's for comfort. Now for the sport, like if you want to ride like crazy, or you wanna go off-road with like some jumps and things like that. I kept everything in terms of a preload and the fork position exactly the same as I described, so full preload all in on the forks. And I found that the front springs are quite soft actually, so it's 80mm sag with a full tank of fuel, probably down to some additional accessories I have, like this, for example, engine protection plate. That's pretty much adds maybe to it, but 80mm front sag is way too much on such a bike. So I think it deserves a higher rate springs, and I will replace them to a higher rate as soon as I can find any. So KTM is supposed to have, the spring rate at the moment is 0.65, but they should have 0.7 somewhere, but it's not possible to order even though we listed in the manual. But probably it deserves something like a 0.8 or maybe 0.85 even, but we shall see. I mean, but I couldn't find any manufacturer who makes springs for this bike, except for Hyper Pro, but those are progressive springs and they will put bike lower. I don't want that anyway. So right, so for sport riding, so all the preload should be in the fork position. Again, only caps are showing. Don't forget about the steering damper clamp over here. When you adjust the fork position, you need to untighten it and then tighten it back. It's right here. There's a nut, 12 Nm on that one. When you tighten it up. So the compression damping adjuster for the sport riding at 7 clicks, as we recommend here on the sticker, this one. A rebound damping adjuster at 9 clicks out, so it's 2 clicks more out than we recommend. Otherwise I found the fork kind of packing too much, riding low, too low. Now coming to shock. So in the shock, again, for the sport riding I keep exactly the same preload, full out, no preload on the shock spring. And then for the high speed compression damping adjuster, it's somewhere between 1 and 1.2. I don't know if we can describe it like that. Let's say between 1 and 1.5 of a turn out on this 17mm nut. And that is a balance of where you wanna like have less dive after jump when you put it to 1 turnout, and if you want to have a little bit more comfort on maybe 1.25, like 1/5 and or 1.25 turns out would work better, but that will dive higher under the jumps, so it's up to you to decide. And then that small screwdriver thing, it's low speed compression. That is set to 4 clicks out. And the rebound adjuster, which is over there somewhere, but it's at the bottom of from the same side, so that needs to be at 9 clicks out. And this is what I found to work the best for me in terms of a suspension adjustment for sport and for comfort riding. So I did 1,000 kilometers in 2 days on it. The first day approximately 400, and the second day the rest. And I found that the comfort setting works definitely better, so you have no fatigue, you're just riding along at like good speed with no problem whatsoever. And for let's say a more sporty ride, and then you go off-road, you need to have a stiffer suspension response, so the bike would be more under your control, and that's why I listed those settings as well. Or if you do like a very sporty riding on the street, like that also helps. But for the longer drives, those sport settings are probably not that great. Alrighty, that's pretty much it. So thanks a lot for viewing.